John Wayne Gacy, who some would consider a real-life monster, was one of America's most notorious serial killers who raped and murdered at least 33 young males in Cook County, Illinois from 1972 to 1978. But what's the background to these heinous crimes? John Wayne Gacy was born in Chicago on March 17, 1942, to a drunken father who thought of him as nothing but a failure and a mother who attempted to protect him at all costs.
He grew up suffering from alienation due to a congenital heart condition that prevented him from playing sports, and he also struggled with his sexuality. There were multiple signs of trouble during his childhood. It had first started when Gacy was 6 after he stole a toy truck from a store. His mother had forced him to apologize and return it, after his father had beaten him for it. 1 year later, when Gacy was 7, he and another boy were accused of molesting a girl. This earned him yet another beating. Also during his 7th year, he was molested by a family friend, but instead of telling his parents, he suffered this in silence out of fear of being blamed for the act by his hateful father.
In 1962, he left his abusive home in Illinois for Las Vegas and took a job as a mortuary assistant. One night, he stayed in the morgue and climbed inside a coffin of a teenage male. He spent some time cuddled up with the boy until he disgusted himself and got out. A year later, in 1963, Gacy was ordered to have a psychiatric evaluation where it was concluded that he had an anti-personality disorder and treatment would most likely not help.
His first crime was a sexual assault on a boy in 1967. He then continued to rape many other boys over the following months and was convicted of sodomy of 2 boys in December of 1968. He was then sentenced to 10 years in the Anamosa State Penitentiary, which is also when his wife, Marilyn Myers, decided to divorce him. After the discovery of his first well-known killing in 1972 of a boy named Timothy McCoy, there were at least 33 other killings that were uncovered over the next 6 years. December 11, 1978, Robert Peast went missing, and it's reported he was going to meet Gacy to discuss a job. December 21st, police searched his house and uncovered evidence of numerous horrific acts.
December 1978, when a police detective thought he smelled decaying bodies, Gacy said it wasn't. It seems inconceivable that Gacy would rely on such a defense, because the truth about the crawl space became international news on the very day Gacy was arrested. On the night of December 21st, 1978, while John Gacy was held at the Des Plaines police station for possession of marijuana, the second search of his house began. While some officers looked for evidence upstairs, 2 went below into the crawl space. Moving on hands and knees, the evidence technicians surveyed the muddy ground. One officer took a shovel, dug down about 6 inches, and pulled up something hard. It was a human bone.
After spending a year in Vegas, Gacy returned to Illinois and began his performances as Pogo the Clown at charitable events and children's parties. Pogo the Clown also traveled to several hospitals to visit ill children and took part in fundraising projects. He also was an artist and painted numerous pictures of himself as Pogo.
To the end, John Wayne Gacy proclaimed his innocence.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, because you will have executed somebody that didn't commit the crime.
Spring 1992. Killer John Wayne Gacy tries to rewrite history.
When they paint the image that I was this monster who picked up like these altar boys along the street and swatted them like flies, I said, this is ludicrous. Whether it's Berkowitz, whether it's Bundy, whether it's Williams, Wayne Williams down on Atlanta, or any of the others, or Charlie Manson. See, I don't comment about other cases for the simple fact is that I wasn't there.
Do you feel somewhat of a kinship with some of these people?
God, I hate that when they put me in the same club with them.
He was found guilty in 1980 and was charged with committing 33 crimes. He was sentenced to 12 death sentences and 21 natural life sentences. He was killed by lethal injection on May 10, 1994 in Crest Hill at the age of 52.